What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it's a very exciting night if you're a Cats fan. The Cats have lent into the Charlie Curnow transaction in a big way. And of course, that poses a lot of questions. How did Geelong go chasing Marshall? What does it mean? We're going to talk about all of that in this video, and it's because, according to Kel Toomey, who shared everything tonight on Twitter, he said, the exclusive, Geelong has made a major move for Charlie Curnow, offering Carlton 3 first-round picks for the superstar. The Cats had tabled pick 19 to St Kilda on opening day of the trade period for Rowan Marshall, but with no movement on that deal, have made the Curnow play. They're going all in. Now, that of course raises questions about Rowan Marshall. How do the Cats get that deal done? What gets the deal done for Curnow? Are the Cats going to get stuck in a position where they get neither? Are they going to get both? Do they get one? Do they get the other? We're going to talk about all of it. It's a really fascinating conversation I think we can have here, and I'm really keen to hear your thoughts. If you're a Carlton fan, a St Kilda fan, and of course Geelong fan as well, let me hear from the neutrals as well, who don't have a stake in this one whatsoever, because you're going to be the most unbiased of everyone. I'm keen to hear your thoughts on this particular matter, because it's going to be a big one that shapes the remainder of the remainder of the trade period. There is, of course, the Zach Merritt conversation. Clayton Oliver's now up and about. There's Zach Butters continues to just bubble along. We'll see what happens there. There's a lot of big names on the table right now, but this is absolutely one of the biggest and most fascinating potential transactions in the entire trade period, and Geelong has gone out as hard as it possibly can to try and secure the deal, with a deal that is very similar to what we offered for Jeremy Cameron. 3 first-round picks is what we provided Sydney in that particular year. Now, the difference was they were all from the same year. We got a whole bunch of them from West Coast for Tim Kelly. The difference is that this year Geelong wants to offer 2025's first, 2026's first, 2027's first. And so it makes it a little bit different. It's a bit more speculative. If you're Carlton, you're trying to work out, well, where's Geelong going to be on the ladder, because that's going to then impact what the pick is they get from in return. There's the Tasmania factor. They've got father-sons and the changes to the bidding system. There's a whole lot of complexities to this. And so I've put together the deal that I think gets the job done for the Cats for both Marshall and Curnow. And I hope you stick around for this one. We're going to talk about it right after this word from our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, I've got my trade board here. It's obscured by my Twitter handle right now. We're going to pull it up into plain sight. I'm going to talk about the 3 transactions that will get Charlie Curnow and Rowan Marshall to the Cats in my mind. And I don't feel like, but again, please, Carlton, St Kilda fans, I want to hear from you if you feel like we're lowballing. I know that there's been a lot of conversation about you want Holmes, you want Myers, you want players. Well, Geelong's not willing to go down that path, which is why they've thrown the first-round picks out there. So as well as trying to explore the possibilities here, I'm also factoring what the conversation is dictating right now. So I'm not saying the deal will get done, by no means, but I think what I'm constructing, I think what Geelong is putting forward is ultimately a pretty fair one. So let's talk about how it all comes together. First, there's a trade that goes before any of Curnow and Marshall. And what I'm suggesting is that the Cats go and visit the Essendon Football Club. And they go and chase their second-round pick, which is currently, as things stand, off the back of some of the free agency compensation picks that have come in, that is currently pick 21. That will probably push back to pick 26 or thereabouts, with the various bids that are going to have to come in and with the free agency picks that have already been allocated. So it's going to slide back about 5 spots, you would imagine. But what Geelong does with that is what coming up is the important thing here. So going beyond that, we can then talk about, well, okay, so how does Geelong get pick 21? Pick 21 is a pretty good selection, but it's a good selection in what is allegedly a fairly weak draft. We hear lots about 2026 and how that is going to be running much deeper. So what I'm suggesting here is that Geelong offers its second round pick for 2026 in exchange for Essendon's pick 21, so their second round pick for 2025. Swapping the round, Geelong will probably be much further back in the second round. Essendon will be much earlier because they are certainly on track to be a weaker club. Geelong, presumably, still going to be a stronger club, especially if you can pull off all of these deals. So there's a bit of a difference there. The sweetener then becomes, well, we'll offer you pick 40 in this year's draft as well. So we'll give you our second round pick from this year. That's where currently our second round pick sits, thanks to all of these free agency picks. So we're offering a second round pick from 2025 and a second round pick from 2026 to get nice and early in the pecking order. So now let's turn to draft number 2, and that's the deal for Charlie Curnow. And honestly, I think what Geelong has posed in this scenario will largely get the job done. Pick 19, a first round in 2026, a first round in 2027, in years where the bidding system is going to be a lot, it's going to be tightened up. It's going to be a lot harder for clubs to be ridiculous about what they've been doing in the way they've been able to bundle up a whole bunch of third and fourth round picks and make that equal to a Levi Ashcroft at pick 4 or whatever he was. That sort of stuff is going to be tightened up significantly. And so it means that these picks hold more clout. The downside about the 2027 selection, of course, the risk here is the Tasmania factor. If Geelong is a top 4 team by that point, and then Tasmania comes into the mix, that could actually be, say pick 19, pick 17 or thereabouts in a less compromised draft next year, and pick 28. And that's probably the risk there. So maybe there's one final little sweetener that Geelong needs to put into that, whether it's a pick or whether it's one of those fringe players. So we're not giving away a Myers, we're not giving away a Holmes, we're not giving one of those top dogs away, but we're giving something that sweetens the deal. Whether that is a ladder pick, whether there's some sort of exchange of picks somewhere along the way that kind of offsets that bit of difference that where they're going to slide because of Tasmania's presence, presumed presence. But that gets Curnow over the line. And then that takes you to your final transaction. And that's the Rowan Marshall one. And there's a lot of, I guess there's a lot of concern from Cats fans as of when I record this that, we've gone all chips in for Marshall. You obviously read what Cal Toomey posted there that, well, maybe they're not going to go for Marshall anymore. No, I think that's on the table. And that's where the Essendon trade comes in. And again, I say Essendon, but that could be another team that's in the same sort of range. I think Melbourne's got picks in that sort of ballpark, and I'm just checking where things sit at the moment. Melbourne's got picks in that ballpark. You could look at Brisbane and their pick 23. You could look at Gold Coast even prior to pick 18 because they've got a bunch of first rounders. You could, there's quite a few clubs that you could potentially explore this conversation with. Melbourne, North Melbourne, etc. But I've gone Essendon because it's the best value pick of the lot, and Essendon have a few firsts before that. You bundle up your Essendon pick 21, the one that you just traded for here, and you toss in, again, we're talking a sweetener here, a Ted Closey. He's young. He's clearly got the talent. I think he's clearly of an AFL standard that offsets that difference. The fact that we're no longer giving them a first-round pick, we're now giving them something that's awfully close. We're talking about, as things stand, two points of difference. Geelong currently has pick 19. Essendon currently has pick 21. We're talking about sliding 2 spots versus the previous offer, but then adding a player who I think has a lot of talent and is absolutely an AFL level player and will probably offer some really good things to St Kilda as a depth option, if nothing else, into the mix. He's going to bring that defensive pressure that, the likes of Naz and some of those guys aren't. So I think he's going to be a really, really valuable asset. Don't like saying goodbye to Ted because I really do fancy him. I think he's going to do some great things. But sometimes you've got to give something to get something. And I think, unfortunately, player-wise, it's your Ted Closeys, it's your George Stevens, it's your Mitch Nevitts. They're the guys that are in this conversation. And I think Ted is the one because he's explored, clubs have been sniffing around already. I think he's the one that gets this deal done. And so that's my 3-part trade that is going to unlock Curnow and Marshall and bring them to the Cattery and give us every chance under the sun of winning a premiership in 2026, I hope. To summarize it all again, Transaction 1, Essendon gives its pick 21, the second round pick in the draft, currently 21 as I record this, to Geelong in exchange for pick 40. That's Geelong's second round pick in 2025, and their 2026 second round selection in a much stronger draft. Geelong gets that pick 21. It then gets bundled up in a transaction with Ted Closey to go to St Kilda for Rowan Marshall, and Geelong's 3 first-round picks go to Carlton in a very Jeremy Cameron-like deal in exchange for Charlie Curnow. Cats fans, Saints fans, Blues fans, and any neutrals watching right now, I want to hear your thoughts. Does this stand any chance of getting up? Keen to hear your thoughts on it. What would you tweak? Is it close, but you'd want to change a couple of things? Is Ted Closey not the man that you want to give up? Is there someone else instead? What is the sweet spot? I'm keen to hear your thoughts. I want to have a good, honest, genuine conversation with you about this because I'm not trying to bait anyone. I promise you. I feel like there's something very, very close. And again, maybe there's some little tweaks around this just to sweeten it that little bit more. But I'm trying to put forward a very genuine proposal here. So let me know what you think. Use that comment section. Like this video if you haven't already. Share it with your friends and family. Get their thoughts on this conversation as well. And check out all of the awesome Hoops Crew content we're producing. From myself, Ben, and the chaps, there's lots of great stuff there to consume. If you like that, consider checking out our Patreon. Patreon.com/thehoopscrew, where you can subscribe for 7 days of free trial access. See if it's for you. And for $5 a month, you'll get that content, the exclusives, the early access content, and the extended content delivered directly to your email inbox. You'll find me at Paul James Games. That's on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew you'll find at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. I hope this works out because we'll be looking pretty for 2026. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later.